Yo, what's good? It's your man 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Jonathan Kuminga is a rising star. And I mean bona fide star, likely to become a superstar. And what that means for Klay Thompson. I want to dive into that in this video. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button for me. Hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. Let me just start off by saying, I told y'all so, I told y'all so, I told y'all so. And I'm going to say it again, I told you so. In the draft, in Jonathan Kuminga's draft, I specifically said that this young man's physical profile is that of a superstar. He has great positional size at 6'7", has about a 7'1", 7'2" wingspan, has about a 40-inch vertical. Most importantly, he has a lightning quick first step. A quick first step, this is something that separates the athletes from the functional athletes. Like there's guys who have leaping ability, there's guys who have speed, but the ability to move quickly on the court sometimes is far more functionally applicable in terms of your athleticism than simply being a leaper, because you need to get to your spots. Jonathan Kuminga has natural, what we call man strength. The strength that normally guys don't get to until they're about 27, 28, 29, sometimes 30. This is a point where your body has developed, your bones have hardened, and now you move in a much more dense physical fashion. Think Amari Stoudemire. Came into the NBA with man strength. On top of that, he has a natural nose for the rim. He always knows where it is and has great functional skill to apply his agility and explosiveness and footwork to be able to get to where he's trying to go when he's driving to the basket. Now, this may seem like, what do you mean? Most guys know how to get to the basket. It's not that easy. When you have help defenders, you have an on-ball defender, you have offensive flow moving around you, you have a defense that's contracting and expanding with the ball. Being able to gauge your speed and the ability to control your steps to get to where you are trying to go, well, just ask all the players who can't average 20-plus points a game how hard that is. Then you add his work ethic. He was in the G League at 18, y'all. At 18. At 18, he was starting for the G League Ignite. And he was their main scorer next to Jalen Green. He was a physical freak, as we might say, to kind of group all those things together. His abilities that he was coming into the NBA with was by far, something that only normally superstars come into the NBA with. These are the Derrick Roses, guys who hit the ground running, immediately are able to impose themselves physically. But a lot of y'all got caught up in his basketball IQ, how well he can move within the system. Let's be clear. The Warriors system is not a system that pretty much anybody else runs. It works because they have two of the greatest shooters of all time on the team, or used to. And with Draymond Green as that point forward orchestrating the offense and everybody moving in this continuous flow, this is not your average offense. This is an offense that most veteran players struggle to figure out and find themselves able to actually navigate and maximize their potential and skill, especially when it's already built around Klay and Steph. Right? This was why James Wiseman wasn't able to last, because he needed to learn at such a steep rate that this team was like, look, man, if you went to Charlotte instead of LaMelo Ball, you'd probably be the starting center. You'd probably get about 10 to 12 to 15 touches, shot attempts, and you'd look great. But here we do something completely different. And it was somewhat unfair, though I think a lot of that was on Steve Kerr. All that's to say is you guys focused on one area of growth that anybody would have had to figure out coming into the NBA, let alone coming to this team. And yet I kept telling y'all, don't worry, he's going to figure it out. Stephen A. Smith was on ESPN lying, talking about there was something with Jonathan Kuminga's work ethic, right? Even Steve Kerr rebutted that and said there's nothing wrong with his work ethic. He's actually done everything we've asked him to do. And he played for the Congo's African World Games, trying to qualify for the latter World Games and Olympic Games. And they asked him to play that dominant scorer / playmaker to develop his ability to read defenses that are keyed in on him so that he can really make sure that he's enhancing his ability to distribute the ball, find open guys, and make people better. He did everything that was asked, and y'all still doubted him. Then you kept telling him to wait his turn, even when he started showing y'all flashes. Y'all said, wait your time. This is a championship team, and I wasn't mad at it. Andrew Wiggins was balling back then, right? He was practically the finals MVP right behind Steph. He was doing his thing. You also had Klay was still hitting his shots. Steph was balling out. The well-oiled machine of the Golden State Warriors offense was humming. And so he waited his turn. He bided his time. And then it wasn't. Coming into this season, the offense stalled. Parts of this engine began to fall apart. Klay Thompson fell off. Andrew Wiggins fell off. And now all of a sudden, you have an issue with this machine. Insert Jonathan Kuminga. A new part. A completely different part. And it's performed so well. And Klay Thompson has fallen off so much. And Andrew Wiggins struggled for so long. They've had to rebuild the engine around Steph and Jonathan Kuminga. And it's time for us as fans to get on board, if you're not already. Because I believe that the Golden State Warriors already are. If you saw the last few games, Steve Kerr has been sitting Klay Thompson more and more. Steve Kerr has been playing guys like Gui Santos. He's been playing the guys who've been waiting their time in the wings. Moses Moody. Lester Quinones. He's been playing the guys that have been getting overlooked, stalling and waiting for this engine to kick back into what it used to be. And they've reached a point of no return where they can't wait any longer. And this is what I think it means for Klay Thompson. You're going to have to get in where you fit in. You're going to have to humble yourself and figure out how to be a part of this new machine. Because if we're honest with ourselves, this was a position he would have been in his whole career if he wasn't playing alongside Stephen Curry. If he wasn't playing next to the greatest shooter of all time, he would have been in a position where he has to fit in. Not they're going to be having him run around nonstop and looking for him to fire as soon as he catches and saying, hey, go ahead, you have the green light. He would have been spotting up. Yes, moving off the ball, but he would not have been featured in the same way. He's had his run. And in order for him to stay a part of this team, he's going to have to fit in. He's going to have to do the little things that were expected of other guys like Harrison Barnes and Andre Iguodala, Sean Livingston, David Lee, Andrew Bogut, guys who've had far more fanfare, were drafted far higher, had far more potential, had far higher peaks up until the time where Mark Jackson said, this is what we're going to build here. This machine around Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, and we need everybody else to fall in line. You see, sometimes it's easy to play leader when you're always the leader and everyone's following you. And sometimes it gets tough when you need to take a step back and listen and follow somebody else. This is the true testament of a leader. Can you serve and follow when it's for the betterment of the whole? And right now, Klay Thompson is not just struggling with that, but he's operating in such a way where he's becoming a detriment to this team. More and more with his selfish play. And when I say selfish play, I mean taking shots out of rhythm, hard contested when he doesn't have himself going, and early in the shot clock, disrupting the flow of the offense. Now he's getting in Stephen Curry's way because the offense can't get flowing, because he's bringing it down and taking a quick shot off the dribble. He's playing almost like he thinks he's Steph. And as a result, this team is fighting just for the play-in tournament. But time's up for the Golden State Warriors. And time might be up for Klay Thompson. Right now, he's got to fit in. He's got to spot up. He's got to wait his turn. He's got to concede to the other hot hands and guys who have it going. He's going to have to start passing up okay shots for better shots. He's going to have to start passing up shots he used to be able to make when he had it going for shots that are better for the team. Because if he doesn't, the Golden State Warriors are going to have an easy decision this offseason. He will have played himself out of that veteran, part of a dynasty franchise tag that he's been riding on for the past few seasons. He's going to play himself out of that. He's going to create such a stir and a narrative around him where it completely justifies the franchise saying, look, we're going to let you test the waters, meaning you can go, because you're acting as a detriment. You see, in order to get his probably somewhere around $20 million a year for probably about 3 years, it's probably what they're going to give him, if he acts right, if he falls in line, if he figures it out and humbles himself and plays his part. If he can't, they're going to let him walk. And wherever he goes is going to ask him to do that. Now, can he go and have a comeback year, a revenge tour where he's like, hey, y'all forgot about me. Y'all doubted me. And now I got into I got into my camp all off season and I'm coming back better than ever. And I get signed by somebody like Philly playing next to Embiid and Maxey and Tobias Harris. And he looks good. Sure. But it won't be in Golden State, because Golden State is already so far beyond the tax threshold, so far beyond. They're just like, look, we need to get rid of money. You know why? Because in 2 years, guess whose contract is going to be up? Sorry, when I say 2 years, that means this year and at the end of next season. Jonathan Kuminga will be eligible for his extension. And that extension is likely going to be anywhere between 25 to 30 million a year with the rising cap and what he will demand, because every other team that is positioning for the 2025 free agency, which is the big time free agency, every major free agent is coming about in 2025, not 2024. Nobody cares about this offseason. They will do everything they can to re-sign him. And every other team is going to be trying to sign him, knowing he's a superstar. So Klay Thompson, if you can't get your act together, you're already on notice. In fact, if this was a household, your mama done gave you that look that said, boy, if you don't sit down, if you don't do what I told you to do, I'm about to come over there. Boy, don't you play with me. He's already getting that look from Steve Kerr, from the organization. Stephen Curry looks worn out, tired as hell. Draymond, hey, he's just trying to be cool. But Kuminga right now is like, bruh, I'm the big dog right now. Y'all had me sit down behind y'all for 2 years and change. It's your turn. And I ain't deferring. And he shouldn't. With that, I want to know what you all think. You think Klay will be able to humble himself and play his role? Do you think he's going to keep being a detriment to the team? Get at me in the comment section. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.